Primordial Radio.
Primordial Radio Download 2022. Here with Orbit Culture. Yes, we finally get to meet.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh man, we finally get to meet. So did you guys literally just land in?
We actually came in, was it yesterday? Took the minivan up to Leicester.
Oh yeah, nice. Yep.
Stayed there for a night, and now we're here.
How's it feel to be back doing this again after all the bullshit? Because we spoke a lot over lockdown, right? And it's just so great to be doing this in person now.
Yeah, it's fucking great, to finally be back, We played like Sweden Rock the other day. It was amazing, to finally see the crowd again and, feel the energy. Because fans been waiting as well, and also us. So the energy between bands and crowd was, really good.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be the same here.
Oh, absolutely. And this is the first time you would have played the UK since the tour you did with Rivers of Nile, right? So
that's correct, yeah.
How many years ago was that now?
That was back in 2019 during the fall there. So yeah, it's been a while.
And it almost feels like the band is just in, like it's night and day from where you were then to where you are now and where the band is heading.
Yeah, I think during that time we had only released the first single from the album Ninja, and now we're here working on the new album after Shaman. So
so new music is already in the works then.
Yeah, of course, it's always it's always in the works.
Because the last time we spoke, we kind of left a very big hook and tease of like the big things are coming, and I feel like we're starting to see those more festivals and all of that cropping up tomorrow. So
yeah, we got a big news for you tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
We can't say it yet though. Tomorrow we will.
Now we're going to talk about the fact that you guys absolutely killed it in our Upvote 100. There's 3 tracks in there, with Strangler getting to number 1 with nearly 250,000 votes. I mean that was mind blowing to see. But just tell me a little bit, that song Strangler, and because I kind of get the feeling like now that song is meant for live.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Since the day that we wrote the first riff, it's been like this is the live track we're gonna put in almost all the set lists, as for now at least. Yeah. And it's funny that you say with the voting and stuff, because that's like the what can I say? If we won with that song, we hope that there will show up some people during our set there later. So we're looking forward to play here. Absolutely.
So Strangler will be played at the Dogtooth stage.
Yeah.
You are.
People is.
Yeah. I cannot wait to hear that. So what's it mean then to play a Download festival? Because this is a huge festival, and I think it's any rock, any metal band, it's on the bucket list, right?
Yeah, it's surreal feeling, all the way. It feels a bit like we're still in Sweden in some way. But we just have to focus our mind and do a great show, and then just take it in afterwards instead of just thinking about it too much now when we're here.
Sure. And are you getting a chance to kind of just take it in a little bit as you're doing, Sweden Rock and all of that?
Yeah.
Because I think if you don't, you don't get a chance to enjoy it. In a sense.
Exactly. Then we're gonna go crazy, all of us.
So tell me about the new music then. Tell me about how that's going, how it's sounding. I know you can't reveal too much, but where have you kind of picked up on how the music is coming together?
I think it's I think we tried to mash Ninja and Shaman together in some way. It's a lot darker tone in general, but that's pretty much all I can say right now. But it's when we went in doing Shaman, we just, as we said earlier, we just wanted this EP to be live friendly in that sense. Now we try to incorporate that with the biggest sound we can produce right now.
And are you still doing all of the production? Because obviously you've been handling all of that yourself previously, so you're still sort of self-producing?
Yes.
He's a genius,
No.
Oh mate, tell me. I'm sure you'll be producing other bands if you aren't already, I would imagine.
Yeah, but I'm kind of too lazy for that.
Well, I tell you what though, who is there a band you would love? If they came knocking, is there a band you would love to produce?
my anxiety would go through the roof. So
See, I'm just thinking you producing a Gojira record, maybe.
That's
Metallica could use a new mixer for sure.
I mean, there's so many. You want to see a can of worms being opened there.
Then you don't have to work for life.
It's so frustrating though when it comes to Metallica, right? Because in my mind, they have the best sounding album that's ever been produced with the Black Album. I think 120 mics on the drums alone.
I mean,
and then we all know the situation with Saint Anger.
But that's the thing. I love Saint Anger.
I like the
not
songs.
Not maybe the mix, but I really love that album. It's great.
I like the songs. Like some of the riffs on that, I would say like Some Kind of Monster. I think Saint Anger itself was actually a good tune. But yeah, it was such a shame that the production ultimately kind of ruined it. I did see on the. Did you see on the socials the other day? Metallica posted about Saint Anger,
I saw that.
and it was kind of nice.
Kind of made fun of it.
Yeah, they kind of had a little pop of themselves.
Yeah.
It was like nice to see that recognition of like, all right, we fucked up.
Did it say that?
Pretty much.
I can't remember what they said, but it said something like, whatever people think about this album, it was released like, was it 20 years ago or something?
Yeah, about 20 years ago now, which is a bit terrifying. If I'm honest.
I remember I bought that album like with a DVD in it, so I could see like the live set in their rehearsal space, and it feels like just like yesterday.
Well, it's weird for me with that album, right? Because that I think I had heard Enter Sandman 01 just like previously a little bit, but that was actually the first Metallica album that came out like as I was getting into heavy music.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like my first relationship with Metallica. So I didn't really have any preconception of Metallica when Saint Anger came out, which is why I go back to it a little.
I kind of have same.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first. I think it was my first Metallica album CD that I bought.
Yeah.
It was Saint Anger. So
yeah, mine was I think Garage Days. So I actually thought that they did Die My Darling.
And that was like how the band was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, a lot of years later that I found out that it was
Misfits.
Misfits.
You have to go through you have to go doing all the backtracking, right? So all that being said, we all have heard the Metallica albums at this point. Where do you guys sit? I kind of flit between Puppets and Ride the Lightning, but sometimes Land Justice for All, but generally Puppets I think is the one that I'm like, that's my go-to for Metallica.
It changes for me all the time, but I think where I always land at is the 89 era with Justice for All, and
that's tour. Like, the footage on YouTube is like every metalhead's
the Seattle
dream,
show,
isn't it?
and it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same, but also as you said, the mix and everything on Black Album, I mean, it's a fucking great album. Yeah. So. But also Kill 'Em All, it's just so nice to go back and really hear that harsh. Everything is harsh. His vocals is harsh. Everything is harsh. The sound is. I really like Kill 'Em All, so that's a great album as well.
On production, is it a challenge to have a sound that can stand out a bit, because the way in which production has gone now, a lot of presets, bands can kind of, ultimately there's a bit of, in my mind, there's a convergence on production where a lot of bands do sound a bit similar. Is it tricky on production-wise to try and stand out from the pack?
Yeah, there's one guy I always look up to, and it's Buster Odeholm from Humanity's Last Breath. So I try to when I started doing mixing and stuff in 2012, I tried to replicate his sound but during the course of time it's evolved into something that I like myself, and it's starting to get a bit more sounding like me instead of Buster, but it's hard in a world of presets for sure. Yeah,
because some of my favorite producers, I love it when you can listen to a record and immediately go, that I know who that producer is. So for me, one of my favorite producers is Andy Sneap.
Yeah.
You listen to Killswitch Engage and a Heartache, and I'm just like, I can hear the cymbal. I'm like, that's Andy Sneap. Like, it's a certain signature. It kind of goes subtly unnoticed, I think, sometimes.
Yep. And I always hear it. his snare is
His snare is so like thick
Yeah.
and like beefy.
but it's also so fast in some way. I can't explain about it. You know.
I could never get it. Like I did try it a little bit at home. I was just Cubase LE was not up to the job. So guys, download today. You're gonna be back for Bloodstock Festival as well. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean we'll see each other again in a couple of months, which is nice.
Yeah, and we're playing
Silosis, with Nutfest. That's a great band. Like honestly, like Silosis, I think genuinely a bit of an underrated band. But I think they're getting the recognition now more so.
Yeah.
So
and
I thought it was great to
Josh
see.
is a fucking crazy musician.
Oh, absolutely. I think the way he's been able to carry Silosis and be an Architects now,
Yeah, you know.
it's a bit of an inspiration
Yeah,
too.
I'm a huge fan of Architect. So when he, came in, sadly though, with everything happened,
Yeah,
but he was the right fit,
absolutely.
He's great. And also Silosis is a fucking great band.
Oh God, are they
Yeah.
ever? Yeah, I think they're one of the hidden gems in metal that perhaps the wider world doesn't know. But one fucking band at a time are going to keep at
trying
it.
to, drop tune their guitars as much as possible. Also, we do that, but they're playing like standard E, and it's so fucking heavy,
Yeah.
I think it's standard E or maybe drop D sometimes, but it's so heavy. It's so good.
Yeah.
He's a great musician.
Absolutely.
The whole
So
band is-
so we'll be seeing each other quite a bit over the summer, which is lovely after all of the bullshit. And I can't wait for your set later. Honestly, guys, it is so good to meet in person. Have an amazing set on the Dogtooth later.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Primordial Radio.